Now, next week, Pearl and I will be taking care of breakfast. And then our list of sign up for the breakfast ends in the end of April, and I will make up a new one for May and June. I'll have that next week. All right. I believe that is all I have. Oh, yes. Inga, thank you for this Easter treat. Okay, thank you so much. Let's see. I don't believe I have anything else. Did I need to add something else? I got everything? Okay. Now I'd like to introduce to you our guest speaker. This is Traci, and she is with the Geary County Healthcare Foundation, and she will be talking to us about Traci. We're very relaxed.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning. I'm going to send it up. Go ahead and hand out a little brochure, some updated information. I live 30 miles north in a little town called Lernerville, Kansas. Home of Julie Nelson, if you're not familiar, NFL player. Very wonderful farm community family. And I prayed this morning that I would not hit a deer on my way here. I am married to an auto body technician, so he always says, well, you know a guy, but I actually don't want to hit. I've had a couple since I've been here working in Junction City. So I was asked to say a little bit about myself. So Traci Geisler. I was born in Kansas City, Missouri. My dad used to run the Golden Ox, if you're familiar with that steakhouse. Back in the day, I feel really old when I say that, but it's back in the day. When I was 5, we moved to Manhattan, Kansas, where he ran the Italian Gardens and JD Steakhouse that was in Manhattan, Kansas at the time. And then went to the Liam Elementary School and Theodore Roosevelt in Manhattan, Kansas. And then my mom, my parents got a divorce after 22 years, and my mom married a farmer in Keats, Kansas. And when she married a farmer, then they took me from the Manhattan schools, and I started the Riley County schools at 8th grade. What a big difference when you go from a big school to a small school. Everybody knows who you are, what color your hair is, everything. And actually, there I met my husband when we started dating when I was 15. And we will celebrate 42 years of marriage this year. And so he was from Lernerville, Kansas. And after we were married a year or two, we went ahead and moved to Lernerville so we could raise children as we began to start a family. 4 years after we got married, we could raise children in the small school system. That was he went to Riley, and so that was our goal. I actually started, my first job was at Walmart at 18, and people kind of laugh at that, but I met Sam Walton and have my picture with him, and I feel like that the customer service skills and how important customers and people are, and the customer's always right. And so I learned that at a very early age. I was at the checkouts for 2 weeks, and then was put in the customer service and the layaway. And it sounds silly sometimes when people talk about it, but that's how I feel like I gained my skills on with people. We had a daughter that was kind of sick when she was young, so I quit to stay home with her for a little while with some really bad respiratory asthma issues. And then I got a call. I was taking care of some kiddos, running a little bit of daycare in our house, which is very important. But at that time, I think I had every child crying when I received a call from Kansas Farm Bureau asking me if I'd like to come work for them. And so I went to Kansas Farm Bureau, was there for 16 years, and I taught crop insurance adjusters. And it was so fun, different. Didn't think I'd ever do that. And it was a blast, and you learned so much. Went out to the field and taught them, and then we processed their claims in the office. After that, I went to the Manhattan Area Technical College, and I was assistant to the president and ran their foundation for 16 years. When I was there running the foundation and taking care of the president, I received a little bit of a call telling me about a job position here in Junction City about the foundation. It was very intriguing, and so I applied for that position and was really excited with the foundation and being my interest in Manhattan and that community. It's regional. You know, you have the Wamego and Manhattan and Junction City, and it was interesting when I was there at the foundation to learn that Geary County was kind of, wasn't talked about as much as it should be. They were present at all the regional meetings, and I learned a lot, and I knew people from here, Willie Thornburg and Mickey and different people that I knew, Teresa Bramlage from the college, that when I came here, it was great. This community is very welcoming, and I was very excited to be a part of it. So I was interested with the Geary Community Healthcare Foundation because I knew their director had been there, Joanna, for like 23, 24 years, but they had been without a director for a few years. I was impressed that the board of directors had kept the foundation financially stable and doing what they could for the community at the time. When I came in, which I'm going on 5 years this year, so when I came in, there was some unstableness with the hospital at that time, and they were really needing a good hospital brand to come in and take over. I right away hit the ground running, I think they say, and got out to the community and basically tried to learn about the businesses and everyone and what their importance was. A lot of them wanted the fundraising events back, and because there's nothing better than just getting a community together and having fun, and while you're doing that, you're fundraising. And so that is, there was the glitz, the gala, that was very important and very popular then, and it kind of take a hiatus for a while. And so I was told we want that back. And then I was actually, there are things that you're not told when you're hired until after you say yes, which is okay. But those have been exciting times too. And one of them was I had a golf tournament. Like, oh, by the way, in a couple of months, we want you to get this golf tournament. And it's really big and everybody loves it. And it was so much fun, but I had never hosted a golf tournament before. And so, but we golf, my husband and I golf. So, really fun. What I love about this community is everybody's in. Everybody is all about the cause and what's important in this community, and supports each other, no matter what it is. One of the things about the hospital when I came in too is that we had some of these things people don't realize, and so that's why it's important. The information sharing is so important. The This foundation was established in 1987, and it was established as a nonprofit 501c3, not the hospital foundation, but a foundation for the Geary community, for healthcare needs, and to also help out the hospital with the needs for equipment. And that was really important at that point, at that time, because some of the equipment was so old and they needed, you can look in the brochure and see, but there was the women's center, the cafeteria, there was the radiology machines, the mammogram machines. All of those were over 8.9 million over the years since 1987 has been raised by the foundation for the hospital. So it doesn't matter in my eyes, whether it's the Geary County Hospital or Stormont Vale Hospital. We are so thankful for Stormont Vale to be here. I've just heard wonderful things about, and this community needs a good hospital, good care here. And so the difference you get though is that they are corporations, so they have other hospitals and other towns and communities that they have to take care of, not just Geary County. And so that's why it's important this foundation stays stable so we can take care of those extra healthcare needs that Geary County needs as well. When I came in, it was in that very unstable, like, what are we going to do? We need to keep this hospital going. And so we were asked to pay payroll a couple of times. And so we did pay payroll. A lot of people did not know that, but to me, it's about what can keep this community going, and we need those people. You need an ER. You need, we needed the medical, the urgent care, all of that needed to be happening at the time. So we paid payroll, and then we helped with I kind of put a Facebook post yesterday as a reminder. They needed some infrastructure funds as this transition was happening. And so it was quite a bit of funds, but we felt it was important. So um, we did donate those funds for that. And in the meantime, we also do a lot of nursing scholarships. When I came in, it was very important when I was at the college too. Scholarships are so important. My husband graduated from well, it's called VOTEC at that time, on the auto body when he was 18. And he has provided for our family all these years from a skill, hands-on skill that he learned. And that's very important. And so scholarships are important, and especially in the medical. Our daughter was a CNA at 15. So these challenges are very important, and small communities, if you don't work together, you're not going to achieve the goal. And honestly, at the end of the day, what do we have? We all have the same goal, and that is to make this community thrive and to be there for healthcare needs. Because if you don't have that, what do you have? If you keep thinking, she was telling me her story about her heart situation, Ron's heart situation. Everybody in this room has something. I'm very passionate about the healthcare because when we were just rocking life, again, my husband and I have been together since 15. Our daughter was 18, and our son 3 years younger, and they were doing awesome in school, and just we were just rocking that family life. And then boom, life hit, and our daughter was diagnosed with a very, very we'll try not to get emotional because she's 37 now and gonna have baby number 4 any day, anytime. So we're blessed that has happened. But she was youngest in the whole United States at the time with a golf ball sized carotid tumor. And she started passing out at 16. They told us it was her heart because they hadn't seen anything like that. So we were treating the heart, and it wasn't the heart. She was a dancer, a singer, a cheerleader, and a 4.0 student, and had signed for college already. Long story short, KU Med saved her life, and it was his youngest patient in the ENT department. She had 9-hour surgery. It was all wrapped up in tissue, and we were told by Manhattan it was benign, but it was malignant. And so we had a long journey. And long story short, she leaned on her faith. We leaned on our faith, and she's thriving. She calls it the gift keeps on giving, because now she deals with all she had 33 treatments of radiation to the face. And so now it affects the teeth and the different things now as she grows older. She's an amazing mother, and we're very blessed to have her 2 children. But the moral of that story is that's why healthcare is so important, that you have advocates for the little things that people don't understand that's important. So when Stormont came in, they made it clear they had their own foundation, but because it's a corporation, that foundation has to be spread in different places. And what we tried to instill is that this community still needs this Geary Community Healthcare Foundation to help out with other needs besides that. And it was kind of exciting that we could do the other needs and not just focus, because some people have been so amazing, the donors and sponsors in this community, and the investments we have from people that have decided to put their trust, to turn a trust over when they pass away to the foundation has been amazing. And there's certain things like, hey, I want this to go to radiology, I want this to go to nursing scholarships, things like that. So we've been very, very, we've been our focus has been on that's what those funds will go for if that's what they state they wanted them to go for. And then when I came to Konza Prairie, started meeting in different places. What do you need? Tell me your needs and why. What's important? So Konza Prairie, they go out and they do the dental hygiene, they take the dental equipment, go out to all the schools. They went out to 620 schools, and some of those kiddos, that's the only time they saw a dentist was in that parking lot. They could fix a filling, they could fix a toothache, and they would clean their teeth. They had one machine, one big unit, and that's it. So we helped raise funds at a golf tournament for another unit. And that's been great. And they've stayed, so they could take 2 units out there. the AED machines. Before I came, AED machines were supplied for Fort Riley because Fort Riley is Geary County. School systems and the school systems here, and the fire trucks and ambulance. Well, when I came, they're like, hey, knocking on the door stating our AED machines are starting to expire. What can we do? So one of the golf tournaments we raised for that. The nursing scholarships. I've listed everything in here. It's hard for me to remember, but we try really hard to. The emergency shelter is also was that we just raised for, and that was really important. We did that for the golf tournament. This last Glitz. So the Glitz has been fun. If you haven't come, I encourage you to come. It's just a fun. Ron comes every year. We have very dedicated sponsors. Ron and his wife and their group. They show up and they're present, and it's so important. It's fun to see them have fun and engaging, and you kind of get up and wear your tux. And this year we're doing the Glitz like the 1980s. And so just kind of a fun little big hair, pink dresses. Lots of fun. Yeah. Lots of what? So anyway, one of the things that is important as we, is that so the Stormont has an event coming up in May, and where they're raising for their cardiopulmonary rehab center, and we want to show our dedication as well. So we're a sponsor for that. I think there's some confusion in the community stating, well, now I have to choose. There's no choosing. It'd be great to be able to do both, and if you can't do both, you do one time and you do one the other. So we try to have 3 events each year. We've done boots and buckles. I changed it to when I came, and this year I wanted to do a casino night in June. The more I've been, and sometimes things wake me up at 2 and 3 in the morning, and was thinking about how many fundraisers are around that time, with Stormont having theirs now in May this year, and the Freedom Fest and all the events. I don't want to wear out our sponsors or our donors, and so in April of 2027, I'm going to have a casino night at the country club. And it's really nice because it has different rooms. We're going to have a roulette table, we're going to have poker, and just kind of a fun night to raise funds. This year we also have the golf tournament coming up, and then we have the gala as well. So I kind of ramble on. I apologize for that. But are there any questions, or is there anything I can be helpful with?
I think it's exciting to work with Stormont. I recently, through my experience, got the experience of cardiac rehab work. And it's many improvements that we've made at that hospital. That's the one thing we kind of forgot about. I didn't realize they had waiting lists people to get in there. I thought it was just waiting for insurance to approve it, not to wait for so many people to graduate before we get in there.
Oh, wow.
And it's on the old boiler, and the last old boiler at the hospital. So there's all these portable air conditioners, and it's up within 90-degree temperatures for that. But the fact that they're focusing only on Junction City, and the fact that our healthcare foundation is a sponsor for just a collaborative effort is exciting. Because that's something that a lot of people felt for.
Right, and it's hard. It's not an easy situation. We were all in a room, and they wanted the foundation. They said, hey, we've got a foundation. You're all good. You guys don't need your foundation. We're like, listen. And the nice thing is that there are so many people in this community that has been on that board of the foundation and has seen the behind the scenes of what it can do. When you're a corporate, you see what your mission is right there. Our mission is, which is on the front of this brochure, and there are so many needs in this community. One of the things that I'm really excited about that I took to the board this year that we're working on, which we raised funds for, you'll see a little things here and there that we raised funds for the funded project. And I started that the first year I came at the Glitz. And we do just kind of raise your bid number, and that is for donations for the funded project. When people come and say, hey, just kind of like you guys get requests a lot. And so we get a request saying, hey, as long as it aligns with our mission, we'll see what we can do. The high school has a health science class that needed CPR equipment. And so we donated 2,500 for the CPR equipment. And we just recently did that. One of the things I wanted to start with was scholarships. So this year, besides the high school scholarships, and they need to stay in, we like to encourage them to stay in Geary County. So the CNAs and things like that. We're doing what's called Pathway to Success Healthcare Business Scholarship. And so what that means is the healthcare related businesses, whether it be Victory Clinic, which they've been amazing, they put in $5,000 for this donation this year for the Glitz to go towards scholarships. Stormont Vale, Pull-Off Pharmacy, different places that are healthcare related. If they wanted, let's say Pull-Off wants to go to send 3 people to training, they can fill out an application. And as long as once they have, and she send them to training, once they have passed the training, we receive that they've went and they've passed, then we can reimburse if they've been accepted on the application. We have someone going to Victory Clinic right now. She's an employee there, trying to get the next step in her degree to be able to move a step up at Victory Clinic. So she is applying for some scholarship money for help as well. And so once those applications, I think this is going to be really huge here in Geary County because there are so many businesses that they want to keep their people. So it's retention. And so keeping your employees there and having a reason for them to stay there. There are stipulations for them to stay there so many years after they receive that money. We do not write a check to the employee. It goes to the facility. So.
Traci, what's your biggest challenge when it comes to fundraising?
So that everybody is asking for money. Like everybody else wants to ask you for money too. I think one of the challenges and one of the things that I try to do is not send an email or a text asking for money, but try to set up a meeting each time. And some people do not have the time. They're very, very busy. So they're just like, just tell me how much you want. What do you want it for? You know? And so I do that. But I think it's just getting the message out there. I think it's reminding people that how much we have done for the community and how important it is. I think Ron also made a big point, and that is, again, when a corporation comes in, they have their mission and they have so many they have to take care of, and they're a big corporation. So it's keeping that hometown feel, and it's reminding this community how important a small foundation is like this. Right now, my challenge, another challenge is I try really hard, maybe too hard. I don't have staff. I don't have a lot of staff. Right now, I've been without an assistant since June. And so I think it's just showing, and doing that, I've kind of worn myself out. So my board has instructed me I need to get an assistant and have somebody in there because I try to do it all myself. I did the Glitz and the golf tournament. I do have volunteers, but I did run it by myself. And 179 golfers. It's a great, wonderful, fun day too. But the point is like, I try really hard to use as little funds as we have to run the foundation so we can put more into the community. Every dollar that we make, that we raise, goes back into the community. So that's really important. So challenge is, it's a hard time. When I came in, it was COVID. I'm like, you want me to ask everybody for money during COVID? And I'm supposed to do face-to-face meetings. It ended up, everybody was so welcoming. I think that until you get in this community and you see how much people, I do feel like no matter what, there's probably, at least 3 times, 30 people that I've met in this last 5 years or more that I can call and go, Ron, I need your help today, like in an hour. Can you come? And he would be there. And you would do that for your buddy, your friend, your coworker, and that's what I love about this community. There's so much passion in this community.
So sometimes there are individuals who pay their medical bills, hospital bills. Is that part of your mission, or is that?
No, we cannot. So that's a very good question. And I do get those calls, and sometimes those calls are really hard. I have a big heart, and those calls are hard. I direct them to the health department and to social services and delivering change, pregnancy center, different places like that, depending on their need. I try to direct them. I do not just say no and hang up the phone. I try to find a resource for them before I do that. But we cannot do that because our mission is, it has to line. We like to, and that's where Stormont's been a little different for us too, because they're not a nonprofit. So we are trying to, we try to stay with the nonprofit, and then in different realms of things, we'll go outside that depending on what it is and what if it meets the mission. But unfortunately, we would probably be completely out of funds if we did that right now, because raising for individual, then it's hard to judge, well, this one needs it too, this one needs it too. How can you pick who and what? So, another thing I want to say is that when the hospital came in, they had to make a choice not to have the medical supply down below. Home medical is what it was called at that time, because they are corporate and have different resources. That being said, when we decided to take over that building, if we would have not, there was a B&K Medical out of Salina, and if you don't know this, they are the only resource for the sleep apnea machines, the oxygen, and they supply the oxygen to all the patients and everything. So we've rented that space to them below. We made agreement with B&K so they could be here. And so that is also a big collaboration, because if not, people that don't have the resource or the means or the health to go to their community to get their equipment, they wouldn't have it. And so sometimes people don't realize, and they are busy. I went down there the other day, and having a landlord hat was something else I had to put on, but it's been a great collaboration too. But they had 150 boxes sitting out there, and I'm like, wow. These were for all the soldiers, and like 92% of your soldiers have CPAPs, and they were doing a year's supply for the ones that are deploying. How interesting is that? I had no idea that they did that, but they had to do a year's supply of the masks, the tubing, and all the filters and everything, and they were boxing them and shipping them to where they're going to go. So they didn't take them with them. So the soldiers would come in, they make sure they have what they need to get them through the deployment, and that's, to me, that's just amazing. So to be, if we didn't have the medical supply here, that would be very challenging. So. Any other questions?
Oh, I, for one, learned a lot.
Good. And that's another thing, that's, you know, while there's been some confusion and question of between the hospital and the foundation, collaboration is very important, and one of my missions right now is to get out and speak more. I spoke when I first came, but is to just kind of get out and put that information sharing out there too. So, and we invite you all to all of our fundraisers. If you go to the website, there's all sorts of information out there as well. And so, and my cell phone is even on billboards somewhere, I think. So, personal cell phone. So if you need something, or you have a question after I leave today, please email or give me a call.
Is the assistant position, is that full or part-time?
It's a full-time. We're looking for full-time. I've done part-time, and that worked out fine for me, but I think we're going to do full-time. My body is not cooperating with me, and I can hardly lift anything anymore. So I've actually, Rob Wilson, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Rob with the military affairs, and he is working on, he has so many gentlemen that leave the military and need to do something because they don't want to just completely retire, and they have benefits, so we wouldn't have to pay the benefits, and they also have muscles that can help me with the moving and the organizing of everything. And so I think we're kind of looking at doing some interviews with female and male retired veterans, and I also think that would be kind of a win-win, and have some spreadsheet. I need somebody to go back around to help me with my data and spreadsheets and come to the events. And I also think that'd be awesome with Fort Riley, and I have been out there quite a bit too, but not as much. So, yeah.
Thank you, Tracy.
Before closing, I need you to pick up the ticket. I need the last three numbers.
Okay.